Entitled, baby.
I've been trapping all day, couldn't get away from my dope scale. I'm a cold stunner, road runner, you got no bells. More money, I need more sales. Make it hell, make it hell.
Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors, episode 5. This is a big episode. This is somebody that I've known for a long time. Grew up right down the road from me. 8-2 professional MMA fighter from Claremore, Oklahoma, Tracy Reeder. He's definitely an up-and-coming star, someone that you'll definitely see on the rise and definitely on your TVs very soon. We're going to sit down with him today and just kind of talk about all things encompassing him and what he has going on. So how you doing today, Tracy?
Man, I'm great, bro. I've been in Little Rock all week. I'm like right out the car, 4-hour drive, like I'm right to you guys.
Damn, okay. So I know you just came back from Little Rock and you were in training camp with TJ Brown. He has an upcoming UFC fight. So kind of how is that training with a guy on that, that caliber and getting to be a part of his camp?
Man, it's fucking sick, bro. It's like I've known these guys probably for about a year. I've been going up there and training with them, and I've developed a really strong relationship. Those guys feel like just my everyday teammates when I'm down there. So it's great to be able to work with the high-level guys. And the whole room was high-level, Coach Rowley was in the UFC. Brian Foster was there. He was in the UFC when, Bryce just fought, but, he's there sometimes. And,
yeah, I've seen you training with him, too. That's really cool. He's definitely a big
dog.
name.
They're all dogs, Everybody, like, in that picture I posted is a fucking hammer, bro. Like,
I believe it for sure if they're training with him.
Hunter Butler was there from Louisiana. He's in the UFC. Alex Foster, Brian's son, was there. He's a fucking dog. We fought as amateurs, actually, And he fucking tagged me up, you know what I'm saying? So the fucking room, like, to be in there was a blessing, and to be in there all week.
Well, so a question I have, I'm not really big into the fight scene, like I told you, some of my homies that fight, but what's the difference between training in a gym like that and then training here locally with the people locally? Is there a big difference? Like, do you see the difference? Or is it like, oh, this is just training? Or do you, like, actually go in there, it's like a different level, a different intensity? Like, how does that feel going from, like, just training in Tulsa with, just people in Tulsa, then going to a gym where it's like, okay, everybody in here lives and breathes and dies this shit, like, for a living?
Well, I promise anybody doing that shit lives and breathes and dies.
Well, yeah, I just mean for, like, because, I feel like every fighter's goal is to go to the UFC, right? So now you're dealing with people who've been to the goal where you're going to. I know it has to feel a little bit different. Like, it has to. Like,
bro, like, I have, like, a few training partners around here that, they are just like those guys. The only difference is we're just not in the UFC yet, you know what I mean? Like, we live and breathe this shit. We don't do anything else, So, they're really doing, like, everybody's doing the same shit, bro. Literally everybody is doing the same shit. We're all throwing punches and kicks and trying to wrestle each other and fuck each other up, But just, like, the difference is, like, being in a room where you have, like maybe at practice, I'll have like 1 or 2 of those guys in a practice. Here, at home, I'll have 2 serious motherfuckers that are for real. But like there, it's like you can't find a not serious motherfucker.
Like, you're not going to get that off go. You're not going to get a break.
Right. And we all, we have people from different, like, there was like 4 or 5 different gyms in there this weekend. It was kind of like we
all the best people from around here.
Yeah, let's all meet up, and so it was a special thing, but it really isn't too much different. Like, I've been, like, to a few different places, man, and everybody's doing the same shit, bro. It's just about the different bodies and looks.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. So, to speak on a little bit of your gym and what y'all got going on over there, because I know y'all definitely have some good guys beside yourself that are a part of things. Do you want to talk about your gym, maybe some of your teammates over there, and kind of how you got started training with them?
Oh, bro, this is the craziest story ever. I knew, so my teammates, I'll shout out Ryan Hoover, Tater McSpadden, Jared McLaughlin, all these dudes are the shit. And everybody, really, I got some other training partners, that maybe aren't fighters but do jiu-jitsu. Hunter Colvin, Corbin Crisp, all the guys are brothers jiu-jitsu.
Hunter Colvin's a dog.
Yeah, bro, he's a fucking animal.
World team member.
Yeah, bro, he's the shit. And there's a lot of guys in the room that are the shit. And shout out to everybody at Clinch Martial Arts. I met Tater, actually, at Trinity in Pryor. That's where my striking coach Mike, was at the time whenever when I first started training with him. But then I actually had a job in Pryor, too, at a tobacco company, and I actually got fired
Tobacco company, like y'all were making cigarettes or
Nah,
some shit?
nah, we were just shipping shit out of a warehouse.
okay,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? But I got fired, and as soon as I got fired, my pro debut was in like 2 weeks. You know, so I knew I had another paycheck from work coming. And then I was gonna make $1,000 because I knew I was gonna win. You know, it was 500 to show, 500 to win. You
Banking
know?
on yourself.
And I was like, oh, dude. I mean, I fucking knew. This was gonna be easier than any of my amateur fights. You know what I mean? I was fighting a real fucking, a guy that I shouldn't lose to. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, fuck it. What am I gonna do then? And my homies at Clinch were training in the morning. You know, like they were training at 9 a.m. And I was like, well, I'll just wait till after this fight and then I'll look at getting a job. You know, I'll have some money. And so I started training with them. And I knew like 3 days in, I was like, dude, I can't work again, bro. This is like I have to make this work. So I go and do the fight and I win, take no damage. They're like, you want to fight again in December? And I'm like, crunching the numbers, you know, how's it gonna work? So that's how I got started at Clinch, basically. You know, is I started going to their morning sessions. I decided not to get a job,
Okay.
but I kept crunching the numbers. I was like, okay, I can last till December. Won the fight, and now I'm making a little bit more money, got a little bit better sponsors. You know, hey, you want to fight in February? Shit, I can make that work. You know.
Damn, so just kind of snowball effect.
Yeah, and that's and then I just was stuck at Clinch after that, and then my striking coach left Trinity, you know. Now we're just all at Clinch, bro.
So how did you get started in MMA? Because like, I know you went to UCO, you wrestled at UCO for Coach Siley, currently the #1 team in the country. How was that experience, and kind of how did you get started in MMA from wrestling there? Like, is that something you were doing while you were wrestling at UCO, or did you start that like immediately afterwards?
So like I always knew. After I finished wrestling in college, I wanted to be a fighter. Like,
Okay.
I've known that since I was 7 years old. And I was just hating it there, honestly. Like, I loved all my teammates, you know. But, yeah, I was just not having a good time. I wanted to... I used to be like... I used to tell my roommates and my homies, I'd be like, I just want to quit and fight MMA. And they'd be like, well, you can't just do what you want, you know. And... So
it would have been a problem if you were doing it while you were there.
It wasn't even that, bro. Like I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to wrestle for for UCO anymore. I was just butting heads with. It seemed like with the coach and with Coach Sidley, but nothing bad to say about any of those guys. They were all the shit. They taught me a lot. And then I was like, dude, I was done. I was like, I'm done. I quit at semester. I was like, I didn't even tell my family I was going to. I dropped out everything, bro. I was like, fuck it. I need a breath, dude. I feel fucking...
You just come back home?
Yeah, no, bro. I stayed in Edmond because I was
okay.
like...
You don't know one to know at the time.
Yeah. Well, they found out because my dad was... Coach was calling my dad and shit. My dad... I wasn't answering my dad's calls. He pulled up on me.
Oh,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? So dude, for like 4 months, I'm not doing anything, bro. Like, I'm just, like, working at a moving company to pay my rent, you know, and doing a whole lot of bullshit that I shouldn't be doing, you know what I'm saying? And then... I go on a recruiting trip to Labette Junior College, bro.
Okay.
And dude, I signed with them. I'm like, yeah, I'll come and wrestle 1 year. I had 1 year I could do JUCOs.
Were Jack and Caleb there at that time?
No, I don't think so yet. My homie Parker Price was there. You know Parker.
Okay, yeah, I know Parker.
He was there. Parker was about to be a sophomore, you know, so I was like, shit, all right, I'll go here then. Because I was really starting to miss wrestling, you know what I'm saying? And then I got pissed off at my job in Edmond, and I quit that motherfucker, and I moved back home and got this job in Pryor, you know what I'm saying? So the tobacco job. And my homie was my boss, you know, at the time, and everything was great. And I was just going to leave in August and go to school. Well, dude, I was obsessed with wrestling. Like, I was trying to wrestle every day. I couldn't wrestle as much as I was wanting to wrestle.
Yeah, what would you like, go to the high school room at Claremore or things like that?
Yeah, and I would be hitting anybody up. You in town, you want to wrestle, you want to get a workout in? Like, I mean, I was insane, bro. And I just missed it so much. And I get a text one night. Because, bro, I mean, I would tell anybody that would listen to me, I'd be like, I can't find anyone to wrestle with. Like, and somehow this jiu-jitsu coach, my first coach, he's still my coach, you know, and I teach classes out of there, Paycheck Martial Arts, Larry Paycheck, and Claremore hit me up, and he was like, hey, bro, like, if you come and teach, we want to work out with you. If you teach a wrestling class once a week, we'll roll with you, you know, and like
you can work out there for free essentially if you just teach them some wrestling.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, we won't be wrestling with you, but we'll be doing jiu-jitsu. And I was like, fuck it, like I've always wanted to do that shit anyway. So I went in there and rolled the first time, and you know, I honestly, bro, is crazy as this. You know, maybe it's cocky as this would sound. Dude, I was kicking everybody's fucking ass.
Oh, for sure.
But then Coach tapped me once. You know what I'm saying? And he tapped me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I would have got my arm broke. You know, in my head, I was like, "That's so crazy. I cannot believe that shit happened to me." I was like, "I gotta learn this shit, bro." And I knew internally I wasn't going to school. You know, and then like 2 days before moving day, I let everybody know. You know, very nice of me, and. I was like, I'm just gonna stick it out here, and I'm gonna try to fight. You know, my parents were pissed, but 6 months later, I had my first amateur fight, bro.
Damn. Was it Coach Vesta at the time?
Yeah.
I know he's a good coach for sure.
Yeah, he's probably like, fuck Tracy, bro. He hoed us.
Man. No, that's what's up though. So I know you recently had a couple big wins, and you know, What's your next coming up goal? Like, what's the next thing that you're looking forward to?
I think, you know, nothing official. I think I'm fighting again for Fury December 3rd in Houston, and my next goal is to whoop his ass. So, and not get my ass whooped by him. So.
Man, not the last one, but the one before. I think it was the one before that where you fought like I don't want to say it. Like kind of like the tweaker redneck looking dude that was like acting all crazy before the fight, and you got double boots in.
Are you talking about he didn't have cornrows, right?
No. It was like the white dude with tattoos.
Yeah, bro. That was my 5th pro fight.
Okay, that was the 5th one, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, you got double boots in. You literally held him down for like 3 minutes. I was like, when are they gonna call that? I feel like after like a minute of that, it should be a TKO. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to make it last a little bit, you know, just because I wanted to. It's kind of, I mean, you want to get the ring time, and because all my amateur fights were so short, and a
almost
lot of
like getting some tape on yourself.
Well, and like a lot of like my early pro fights were so short, except for my 3rd one. So it's just like I want to just get used to being in that motherfucker. I want to be in there as much as possible, and. You know, so I would be like, oh, I could probably finish him here, but let me hold off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then I heard his coaches yelling that he only had a minute left, and I was like, well, I'm not letting this guy go to the 2nd round with me. So it was like, wow, and then they stopped it. You know,
yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I remember I think I was talking to him today when we went to go handle some business there. I was like, yeah, I remember one day I was out watching wait for Malik to fight, and you fought before him, and I remember you beat the brakes off this dude.
Oh God, I know what one you're talking about.
And you beat him like 30 seconds. And I remember your whole team was sitting right in front of us, and they were going crazy, like literally going crazy. And I remember you getting the mic and you go, "I'm not taking any damage. I'm ready to fight." Literally right after this, you're like, "Who wants to fight?" You were like, "I'm not taking any damage. This is like," you were basically pissed. You're like, "I want people to fight back." And then I remember that I was sitting there. I'm like, who is this guy? This dude's a fucking maniac. Because I remember when you walked out, the whole River Spirit went fucking crazy. I'm like, who is this guy? And my homie's mom, I guess, knew who you were, and she was cheering for you. And she goes, "Oh, that's blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah,
and then you were out there and you were like pissed that you weren't getting hit. You're like, "I want people to fight back." Like you were actually genuinely mad that people were just getting beat up.
Hey,
I thought
bro,
it was hilarious.
hey, that's an act, bro. I'm glad I'm not getting hit. Dude, I was so crazy, but like it's crazy though, because you're in. It's a different like. I mean, you're still who you are, and you're thinking, you know, everything's gonna.
No, that's a different mindset.
You're in
sure,
a different,
though.
and it's under a different set of fucking rules, you know. Like everything is different, dude. You're an altered fucking person. You're disassociated as fuck, you know. And you just start saying some crazy shit, bro. Like, yeah, I didn't wish he hit me. I was like sick, you know.
Quite literally, the last thing the ref says to you is protect yourself at all times. Like you got to be in that mindset.
Yeah, bro, and you're just like, yeah, no shit. No shit. Like,
yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, we really pay money to see people get in an octagon and beat the shit out of each other. It's crazy how like it's come such a like big sport to like people are paying millions of dollars and getting paid to do this shit. That actually blows my mind. I was sitting there thinking like, At one time, there was people who did this shit for free. Like, they just got together back in the old times, just squared up.
Shit,
now you
bro.
get paid millions of dollars to
Amateurs. Any
scrap.
amateurs doing this shit
for
for
sure,
free,
yeah.
you know? Like, bro, every time I have one, I'm like, bro, I cannot believe this shit is legal. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not gonna get in trouble after I mug this dude. You know
I get in trouble at Fassler Hall for it. You can do it in
yeah,
the
bro.
ring.
Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
That's
It's
funny.
sick. It's the greatest thing in the world, man.
So, like, I know in some of your fights, and it seemed like coming from the other dude, like, first most of the time, but, like, you know, you'd have a little back and forth with guys. Do you think it's kind of, like, necessary to dislike your opponent? Or do you think that, like, that there doesn't have to be, even if it's, like, false, even if it's something you have to tell yourself, like,
Yeah.
fuck this dude. Is that something that you think is necessary?
Man, I've had fights where, like, there's been no animosity at all. And like you said, bro, you just kind of create it. And
I mean, you have to.
Dude, I mean, it really is like they're coming to take half your money. You know, you don't get paid as much if you lose, bro. Like, and like your whole fucking friends and family are gonna be there, bro. And you know, I don't have to be like openly beefing with everybody, but this shit is personal, bro. They're trying to whoop your ass in front of their whole friends and family, while their friends and family go crazy in front of your friends and family and be like, yeah, that's what's up, you
Yeah.
know. And you're like, what the fuck? Like when you lose, it's the worst shit ever. And it's just, you know, yeah, it's personal as hell every time, you know. But then I've also had some guys, you know, talk a little smack, and that's always great because then it's like,
Extra motivation.
whatever, bro. I know I'm not gonna be flat that day. I'm gonna be ready to fuck you up, you know. Because sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like you've competed, you
Yeah,
know, wrestling,
exactly.
you're like flat sometimes. Like
It's the exact same thing. Like, if you have to give yourself some type of false motivation in your head to be like, exactly like what you said though. Even if it's not fuck this dude, it's the matter of like wrestling or MMA or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, where it's you and one other person. That's just personal regardless. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And if my friends and family are in the stand, just like you said, I'm not losing in front of these motherfuckers.
And it's personal when it's half your money, bro. Like that's even more personal.
Well, a bridge question to basically what he said. So now that you're kind of like an established fighter, you're kind of like in that scene where people know who you are and they know what you're about. Do you feel like any sort of added pressure to that? Like, you know, coming in for your first amateur fight, you're like, well, I'm just fucking fighting to pay my rent at this point. But now you're to that point now where you're professional 8-2, you're looking towards the bigger picture. Do you feel like you somewhat have a target on your back? Or is it just the same old, we go in there, get the job done, and get out?
Man, I'll tell you, like my first amateur fight, I actually had a job and everything was going good. It was my first pro fight that I was looking to pay my bills, but I've never felt any different about any fight ever. It's like, dude, there's no more pressure than like, I don't want to get fucking beat up, dude. I want to beat him up. I don't want to get beat up ever, you know. And I've been beat up, and it really doesn't hurt. It doesn't suck that bad, you know. It hurts your feelings more than, and I've been beat the fuck up, and it doesn't hurt that bad, like. But I've never felt any more pressure. There is no more pressure ever than a fight, you know. Like they're all the same, bro.
Well, I know something me and Nate was talking about. So, as we know, you have 2 losses. So, how does it feel to go in on such a hot streak and lose and bounce back from it? Is there like a certain sort of motivation after losing? That's because I know you were so used to winning for a long time. You come out and take a loss. What is it like, you know, sitting in that ring after losing and being able to bounce back and keep going forward and keep wanting to do it? Because I know you love it, so I know that's probably a big part of it. But like, what's it like taking that loss and being able to have to go, all right, drawing board, let's go do it again?
Man, it's painful, but like I've been competing since I was 4 years old, bro. I've lost so many times and came back. Like,
Facts.
Like, you know, and that's what it is. Like, especially when you're undefeated. Like I started out 5-0. Like, dude, when you're undefeated, bro, you're the fucking shit. And like I could win a bunch more fights and be like 30-2, right? People are still gonna be like, you know what I mean? But it really doesn't fucking matter.
No, it doesn't. Not in MMA. 'Cause like MMA is different from boxing, whereas like it doesn't. You don't have to be fucking 20-0 to get a title fight because you're not gonna be groomed up and given nobodies. Like if you're really trying to make a name for yourself and go far in this shit like you are, you're having to fight legitimate people every single time, and the level of competition goes up every single time.
Right. And you know, like, after losing, it was just like, I mean, it hurts because, you know, I honestly never really liked wrestling that much until I was done with it. I actually kind of always like disliked it, you know. I always wanted to fight though. So I think the losses mean more to me just because this is my thing, you know, this is what I want to do. So it hurts more, but it's like, dude, I know I'm going to come back. Like, I know when I'm sitting in there all messed up, like, yeah, well, shit, I'm going to do this to somebody eventually, you know, like, you know, but other people don't see it. You know, when you lose, especially when you first lose your O, and then when you lose your O and you lose 2 in a row, now motherfuckers are like, was he ever even really that good? I mean, he's lost 2, you know. But like the 2 dudes I've lost to, like one's got signed by the UFC and the other one's fighting on the Contender next month. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm fighting fucking good guys. You know, I'm right there where I should be, and I really believe that I'm better than everybody I've ever fought, you know, regardless of outcome.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I want to see you run it back with the Medeiros, dude. I don't know, because I feel like if you just close that range a little bit more, like on a lot of those big shots you threw too, you were like inches away from fucking starching him. Like 15 seconds into the fight when he threw the little low kick and you caught his leg and went for the overhand right, I was like, oh my God. I thought you were going to catch him with that right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, he fought the perfect fight, perfect game plan, you know, and it was like you've competed on days where you just kind of like something's in the air. It's like,
oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? It was like,
whether
it
it's
tastes like I'm about to get my
nerves
ass whooped. What the hell is going on, bro? Like, just I don't know. I had you know, I wasn't as disciplined as I mean, it's all on me. You know, these are no excuses. Mark Well beat the fuck out of me. He did what he was supposed to do, and. I mean, I had a tough weight cut. I had, a subpar warm up. And I was just kind of like fucking in La La Land, bro. I went out there and I was like, you know, my last fight, I started like, you know, I fought real emotional, especially after the illegal knee. I don't know if y'all seen that, but
I watched that one.
So I was trying to like kind of come out more chill and relaxed. And I'll feel him out, you know. And really, what I should have done is just got right to my game plan immediately and got in his face, you know. But shit, hindsight's 20/20. You know what I'm saying? He threw that first calf kick, one of the first like 3 leg kicks he threw. I was like, oh, my shit is already.
I noticed because like you changed stances immediately because they said something about it on the commentary.
Yeah, and you know, I thought, you know, now, I mean, there's just so many different things, you know. It taught me a valuable lesson, you know. Since then, I've been working on, you know, fighting both stances proficiently, where like if a leg gets compromised, you know, but also just taking care of the leg kicks and checking them and doing things different, getting right to the game plan really. And I think just like taking that kind of ass whooping, like it's like your body's just gonna callous, bro. You're gonna be tougher.
It's gonna make you better for it down the road.
Yeah, for sure. But he's a great fighter, man. He's the best guy I've ever been in there with, for sure.
No, he was definitely a polished fighter. And like you were saying, I do think that like anybody that's wrestled and then goes into something like that, it definitely does help you because like you said, unless you're in the top 0.1% or in Oklahoma, you're not getting through one season undefeated. You know what I'm saying? I never got through one season undefeated in my life.
Hell no.
So it'll definitely prepare you, you know, to be able to just brush that shit off your shoulder and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because shit, when you're wrestling and you're 8 years old at a tournament, you can take the most heartbreaking loss of your life, but you got to turn around and wrestle in the consolation semis because you just lost in the semis, and if you lose again, you're going from about to be in the finals to out of the tournament, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And your dad's yelling at you in the parking lot and shit. You got to go ahead and get it together real quick. So
yeah.
I already know you're prepared for it, you know? So you kind of spoke on which one of those guys is fighting the Contender Series?
Marquel Medeiros. He's fighting on the Contender, I think, next week. Maybe.
So that's something I was gonna ask you. So like, is that something that you see in your near future? Because that's definitely something I see for you. You seem like the type of guy that they should have on that show.
Yeah, you know, it was just bad. My 2 losses were bad timing for me. You know, like it was like I had 2 losses and then I won in May, but like Contender's already filled now, you know, and it's like, okay, like you can't take someone who's 1 and 2 in their last 3. So then I won another one, and then I'm gonna win another one. I'm gonna keep winning until next summer or whenever the Contender rolls around. I'll be on that shit. Or if like somebody falls out and they can't find somebody and they call me short notice, shit, I'll fight whoever on short notice for the UFC, bro. So we'll just see. I mean, there's a bunch of different doors I could beat down. And I'll beat any of them down that seems optimal for me to get in there.
So like, how far did they schedule that out? I didn't know they scheduled a contender series like that, which it makes sense because you'd have to go through your own training camp and stuff like that to prepare for it. So like, do you know when they'll be like rescheduling for it?
I don't know. I think they do it in the summers. I don't know if they'll do another one before the summer.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, but I just knew like it wasn't all the way filled, but they were working on it. You know what I mean? It was just like, you know, it's tough. It's tough to like tell your manager to be like, hey, put me in after you just lost 2. You know, like, I mean, what am I gonna do? You know, all I can do is win more fights.
And so that's something else I've seen. So how did you, like, I seen you got signed to Sucker Punch Entertainment. How'd that come about? Like, did you reach out to them, or did someone connect you with them, or?
Bro, like, all these different like management companies were hitting me up after I became 2-0 as a pro, and then after my third pro fight, you know, the Sucker Punch had already messaged me before my third pro fight. You know, like they'd already kind of been like, you know, and I was scared because I was like, I don't know shit about any of this, so are these guys trying to fuck me over? Like, I don't know. I didn't even feel like I needed a manager yet because I was still in, like, my career was still in its infancy. I was fighting for XFN here. I was doing all the dealings myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I kind of slow played Sucker Punch a little bit, but Sucker Punch was the only one I talked to that I didn't get a fucking slimy feeling.
Yeah, like this person's trying to get something out of me rather than like work for me.
Yeah, or like they're just trying to sell me on some bullshit. You know, we'll get you in the UFC. You win 2 more fights, you're in. And it's like, bullshit. You don't have control of that. You know, so you just know somebody's lying to you or whatever. And but I was still kind of slow playing because I was like, I'll just wait till I get like 4-0, 5-0, and then it'll make sense to get a manager, but right now, you know, I'll just kind of slow play. Like, if I keep winning, they're still gonna want me.
Oh, for sure.
But after my third pro fight, I fought with COVID. I had COVID, but like I was still in this point where like I had to do this fight to pay my rent, you know. So, and I got beat the fuck up, and then came back at the end and strangled him, you know. And then I threw up all in the cage and shit, and. After that one was whenever people really started hitting me up. And then I think right before my 4th pro fight, I signed with Sucker Punch. And it's been great, man. They've really helped me out. They've got me big fights, big promotions, you know. They're the shit, man.
Yeah, like, we're about to do a podcast with Gerald Harris coming up soon. And it's kind of crazy the way he actually got into the UFC. So, like, he fought on the Ultimate Fighter. Right. And he had lost, like, during the house period of the show. And so then after that, he goes on to go 7-0, and Dana White was on like a radio show, and he called into the show and like acted as if he was somebody else and like was talking about himself though, like talking himself up like, yeah, you need to sign Gerald Harris. Like he's been 7-0 since he got off the Ultimate Fighter. Like why haven't y'all signed him yet? And then by the end of it, he's like, it's actually me, but like y'all really do need to sign me.
No way.
And so then he ended up giving him the number to the UFC office, and he called him, and they gave him a 4-fight deal. So I mean, hey. Maybe that might be something that you do.
Shit.
When you a couple more and figure out how to just get in contact with them.
Shit. All I can do is win the next
one.
Be
spontaneous.
You know, it's such a crazy like that was like a different era though. You know?
Oh yeah, it was a different era. He was on a radio show.
How many people you think fucking DM? I bet there's so many people that DM Dana White that never even had a fight that are like, dude, I'm the shit. You got to get me in there with Francis. I'll kill him. I promise. I'm the man. You know, but yeah, I like Gerald, bro. That's funny. I didn't know that. I've trained with Gerald a few times. He's the man.
No, I did a deep dive on him because, like I said, we're about to do a podcast with him when he gets back from Master Worlds.
Hell yeah.
Like next month. So I definitely have some good questions for him. I did it like 2 hours of research.
That's what's up. Hell yeah.
So you know, like in the UFC recently, we've seen like Sean O'Malley and Jamal Hill, both guys from the Contender Series, win UFC titles. So like. Is that a potential path you see for yourself once you get into the Contender Series? Do you think it's going to be straight up the ladder for you, or do you think it's going to be kind of like a learning and growing process once you get there?
That's a funny question because it's basically like what it really is. You think you're going to get your ass whooped again? You know?
No, I'm just kidding. Nothing like that. But you see a guy like Khabib who has to win like 10, 12 fights because of his style, like your style, or a guy like Colby Covington, where it takes them a minute to get that title shot because they're not like Israel Adesanya highlight reel type of guy. That wasn't the way I was asking the question.
No, you're good. No, I mean, I think whether it's Contender, whether it's signed straight up, whether it's whatever, bro. I think I'm gonna spark so many fools that I'm gonna be undeniable.
No, for
You know
sure.
what I mean, when they'll be the decider. You know, if it's like I go on like a 4-fight run, you know, and people are really digging the blonde mullet and me walking out to Sweet Caroline or some shit.
Exactly, you got that personality.
Then if they want to decide, oh, this guy's got some star power. But if it's like people aren't fucking with me or whatever, like it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's about sparking motherfuckers, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. So.
Yeah, because I think like Colby started like 8-0 or some shit, and then he had that fight in Brazil. It was the main event. I'm trying to think who it was against.
Damian Maia.
Exactly, and he was like 8-0, and they told him that he was gonna cut him after that fight or some shit. And then he went out there, put on the full Colby persona, and he's been a superstar ever since. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Like, do you think like once you get in front of the cameras, do you think you're gonna be able to sell Tracy Reeder to people, like? Endear yourself to the country like a guy like that, or like a Conor McGregor or somebody.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't really feel like I gotta play a character. Like I just gotta be. It's gotta be authentic. You know, that's a lot of the reason like anyone likes the Diaz brothers or guys like that. It's just because it's authentic. You know, like. And that's gonna be my route. You know, I'm not really a good actor or anything, but I'm not like. Getting the mic put on me and being like, I'd like to thank God, my family, my team. You know, no, I mean that's all great and shit, but nobody wants to hear that shit, bro. They want to fucking hear you get rowdy, bro, or say whatever. Say how you feel. They want to be unique, bro. Just
like a Sean Strickland type of character.
Yeah, bro. It's just like I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna say whatever, and then people are just gonna think it's a little wild because my hair is funny. You know what I'm saying? Like it's whatever. I got a frog and a squirrel tattooed on my leg. You know, like I think my personality would be different enough.
For sure. Yeah, because that's definitely something that, like, I never thought about, like, when I was a kid growing up. Like, I just thought everything that I seen on TV was real and that those guys actually hated each other and, like, all the crazy shit they were doing was authentic. But then, you know, once you actually kind of get a little bit older and realize, like, okay, they're doing this shit to sell you on the fight or sell you on themselves.
Right.
Or whether it's jumping over the cage and like running into the stands and getting in the next dude you want to fight's face, or throwing a chair at a press conference or some shit like that.
Dude, when I was first into the WWE before anything, and I thought that shit was real, bro. And I thought,
swear to God,
I thought John Cena was the baddest motherfucker on the planet, bro. Like my dad would take me to like big shit, like to see them do their shit. You know, I was so into it, bro. That's what I wanted to do. But I thought that they were like the tough guys, you know. And then my dad showed me UFC, bro. And I remember watching it, and I remember being like, and he was like, "This is real. WWE is fake. That's fake," you know. And I was like, "No fucking way, bro." And then I started watching UFC, and I was like, "Damn, these are the real tough guys. Okay, this is what I really want to do."
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I just thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool.
It's like, Dad, but they're hitting each other with chairs. He just jumped off a ladder.
Yeah. It was, it's comical now. But it was like, I always just wanted to be the tough guy. Like, oh, these WWE guys are the tough guys? No. Actually, the UFC guys are the tough guys. Oh, well, then I want to be over there with those guys then. I want to be with that, you know? Like, I just always wanted to be recognized as a tough guy, you know?
No, I can respect that for sure, you know? I can respect that for sure. So, just to kind of round things off here, what's something that you want to accomplish by the end of this year? Like, do you have any fights coming up? Are you in talks with any other promotions? Like, I know in one interview you said that fighting in the UFC is almost more important to you than like making a little bit money elsewhere. Like, what's your goal by the end of 2023 going into 2024?
Shit, man. Whatever happens. I'm going to be fighting again December 3rd for Fury. I have a 4-fight deal with Fury. I got 2 fights left on my contract.
Okay.
And, they're partnered with UFC Fight Pass and shit. So if the UFC calls, like, Fury's going to be like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, you know what I mean? They want...
Like going from the minors to the majors type thing.
They want that, yeah. So, I think... If I fight in December, if we get this materialized, my goal would be to whoop his ass.
Okay.
And then, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? That's all I can do, bro.
Do you have any potential opponents in mind?
Man, we'll see. I don't really like to ever say anything until the contract
you don't
is
want to jinx it.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just like, bro, like, I know I've been offered a fight and like I already had another fight signed, or maybe I was like whatever. Maybe I had just fought and I had stitches still, or maybe I just fought and I didn't have stitches still and I just wanted some time off. You know, like so when a fight's offered, you know, that doesn't really like. You know, it's like when somebody signs a contract and then pulls out is whenever it's kind of like, all right, dude, what the fuck?
Okay.
You know, but I don't want to be like, oh, I'm trying to fight this guy and then him got some other shit going on and then I'm like slandering him in a sense, you know, making him look like he turned down a fight that he didn't turn down.
Fight
like it was just some
like
some off
he could have had an
circumstance.
injury or he already has another fight lined up that you don't know about or something like that.
Yeah,
I
because
guess
I've fallen victim to that where people were like trying to fight me and I had another fight that I'd already signed a contract for, but I wasn't allowed to announce it yet. And then you just look like a dumbass. And then I have to get online and be like, hey, listen, you dipshits, like, I got some other shit going on, all right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You feel weird. You feel like a bitch, you know?
I guess that's something, like, you never think about from, like, being on the other side of things, you know?
Yeah, I sure as fuck never thought about it, you know, until I got into it and experienced all this, you know? But it's just the beauty of it, bro. We're learning. We're going through it.
Well, shit, man. It's been a pleasure sitting down with you today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come sit down with us. Definitely something I'd like to do again in the future down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
We can come back and honestly just chop it up. It don't have to be just about your career. You know, I think you're an interesting guy.
Yeah.
You know, definitely someone that people are going to be interested to see in the future. So,
for sure, bro.
It's been the Weekend Warriors. We appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate y'all supporting us. Keep tapping in.
Entitled, baby.
I've been trapping all day, couldn't get away from my dope scale. I'm a coast on a road runner, you got no bells, more money.